My name is Fiona, I'm the Taubmans Colour Specialist, and it's fantastic to be here this evening to talk all things projects, products, and of course colour. So I'm going to just take myself off my computer so I'm not looking at myself here. It's better, I can see something else. I'm going to tell you all about how our session runs. So for the first half an hour, I am in front of the camera and we're live streaming, and it is a fantastic opportunity for you to pop any questions that you do have into the feed, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Once we finish streaming, so after half an hour, I go off camera, but I still sit here in front of the computer and I'm there for a further half an hour or so to answer any further questions that you may have. And then once we are not streaming, it's a fantastic time for you to pop any questions into, any photos into our feed that you would like me to have a look at, to offer some suggestions and help you with colour, or certainly help you with our wonderful portfolio of products that we have designed to protect and beautify your space. So we're talking Taubmans this evening. Thank you very much for joining us, and it's great to have you here. So as I said, we're live. You can start popping your questions into the feed. And while you do that, I am going to begin the session. And the first question I'm going to answer is, we've had a lot of hype around the colour that features in this week's event post. And it certainly does look fantastic. And we've been asked by quite a few people, and one of our lovely viewers, Nikki Buckley, was querying exactly what is the colour. So I'm going to let you know that the colour that features in the post this week is a fantastic colour, which is called Foxdale. Now, it is a wonderful neutral type of grey, and to be honest too, it's actually on my backdrop. It is a very easy, adaptable colour to use and colour to live with. And so that takes me to the next question. Nice little segue there. Which was posted. So how do I know what a neutral grey is? Now, we get asked a lot about how you can distinguish between colours and where do you start, because we understand, it's not all just about going and picking up a can of paint and painting your room. There is a little bit of a journey and a process, and we understand that when you're embarking on a project, colour is key. And one of the things that we do get asked, as I mentioned, is we are constantly talking about what type of grey it is. So I thought tonight I'm going to quickly show you all, and I'm going to do it one by one. I'm going to take you through some common greys that live on our colour wall. So this is a beautiful selection of greys. I'll pop that one there as well. That's another wonderful selection of greys there on the three tiered chip. There's another wonderful grey. And then again, oops, did I miss one? No, there is another fantastic grey. So when I talk about greys, and if you ever, catch me in perhaps a Bunnings near a colour wall and you're asking about grey, I'm going to take you through this. Greys can be, or this is how I view greys, greys can be put into 4 categories. So we're going to start with a blue-based grey. Then we're going to start with what is defined as a neutral, which is a green-based grey. So I might just start to pop these in line and then I'll hold them up. Then we're going to go into a brown-based grey, commonly referred to as greyish. Then we're going to go into a purple or red-based grey. So now, as you saw me when I held them all up before, it's probably hard to tell the difference. You're looking at a screen, but when I put them all up together, you can really see how they all start to vary. So down the bottom here, we've got our purple or red-based grey. Here we've got more of a greyish, so as I was talking about that, more of that brown-based. Then we've got the green sort of based grey, and then we've got more of a blue-based grey. So when you're beginning or embarking on a grey journey, I would direct you to start here. And that is because I'm a bit cack-handed when I'm looking at a screen and going backwards here. That colour with that green undertone is what is defined as a neutral. Now, when you start working with greys, and sometimes I do a lot of colour work, and I'm always helping consumers, and if they're saying, I'm after a grey, and it's like, well, what else is in your space? Because you really need to take into consideration the other elements that, create this whole room, if you like. And so, if you've got grey tiles, or you've got a grey carpet, And it's sort of like, okay, what's the undertone in that grey? And if you're not really sure, this is why I say start with a green sort of undertone, that neutral undertone. And when you go to our colour wall and when you look at colours, you can start to see, like, obviously the colour wall looks a little bit like a colour wheel. You've got like your hues, so you've got your reds and your oranges, and you've got pinks, purples, greens, blue, etc. But when you've got all these greys that are sort of sitting together, just take note of the ones that look a little bit greener. And so the colour, I've just been asked, hi Kathy, thank you very much for joining us this evening. You're saying, what's the name of the green grey? So this colour here is called Char Grey. It is the most beautiful, easy, adaptable colour. And if you're looking for something to use in a space, you know, that you're wanting to, even painting a wall that you're going to house your TV on, this is a fantastic backdrop. If you're happy to have a little bit of colour within your space and, you know, have a little bit more oomph, if you like, go for that middle tone. It's called Flint Smoke. It is beautiful, and you can pair that back with, you know, even earthy organic greens, something like a colour that we have which is called Albion Park, and you can find some of those colours, the colours I'm going to reference, in our latest Equilibrium 2024 colour forecast. Even pairing sort of this green neutral grey back with some dusty pinks, terracottas, even going into mustardy type of yellow, sit beautifully with this sort of colour. So you can start to imagine the different variances that you can put with this, even going into teals. And even, you know, I know that we're constantly talking about greens because, again, green is, again, defined as one of the new neutrals, as are colours that sit on the edge, being that dusty sort of muted pink that sits between being a nude and a pink, sort of that in between, and also looking at caramel tones. They start to form part of the forecast, but colours that you're starting to see filtrate into interior design and into, you know, you might pop into, I'm going to reference Pillow Talk or an interior shop where you're going to get some fantastic furnishings to help to dress your space. So they're the sorts of tones and colours that you can start to see. So going for a grey that's got that green neutral undertone is going to allow you to work really, really well with other colours. So that's kind of how you work out. So if you ever hear somebody talking about a neutral type of grey, that's the understanding of it, if you like. I hope that helps. It's always good to bring that to life. And I'm going to answer another question, which was popped in one of our post feeds. And the question was asked by Donna. So thank you very much, Donna, for your query. And she's asking, do we have chalk paints and wax sealers? To be honest, the simple answer is no. However, we do have a fantastic product which is called Taubmans water-based enamel that's available in a low sheen finish. So when you're upcycling your furniture, really important to use a product that's going to be really hard wearing. Now, what I really love about our Taubmans water-based enamel is the fact that, number one, it is hard wearing. Number two, if you're after a beautiful white, so it comes in like a brilliant white, really clean, bright white, and because it's a water-based enamel, it's going to stay that colour. It's going to stay nice and white. So traditional enamels can, or the old traditional oil-based enamel has a tendency to yellow up or golden up over time. And the beauty again of a water-based enamel is that it is very low VOC. So the volatile organic compounds that are emitted into the air as the paint dries are very minimal. So there's minimal smell, and it's been endorsed by Sensitive Choice, and which means in basic terms that if you've got anybody at home that suffers from asthma and allergies, safe to use. So it's one of my favorite products, and the beautiful thing about it, just in the low sheen, it has a really sort of soft sheen. So it's going to emulate, you know, what you're talking about, having that chalk paint with that waxy sort of finish over the top. So I'd suggest having a look at that. And the easiest place to find our products is if you go onto our website. So if you look at, and I can take you for a quick drive there and then I'll come back to some questions. If we go, oops, okay, I will change my screen and put myself up in the corner. Okay, so if you go to www.taubmans.com.au, it's going to bring you to a homepage that looks like this. And you can go by colours, and as I mentioned before, you can shop by colours, shop by our colour forecast, etc. Or you can hover your mouse over to where it says products, And the fantastic thing about this website is it has been made to be simplistic. So you can have a look, you know, for example, the products, they're taking the hassle out of trying to think, oh, what do I need? So you can search by prep, exterior products, interior paints, doors and trims, ceilings. So what I'm going to do is take you to our doors and trims when I'm referencing our water-based enamel. And here it is here. So this is what you're going to be looking for if you're going in store. It is a fantastic product, and as I said, I mean, look, you can get it in a gloss, you can get it in a semi-gloss, but if you're wanting to reference or emulate, you know, that chalk finish or the chalk paint finish with that wax over the top, so it's not going to look like a chalk paint, which has no, a chalk paint is effectively a very, very, very sort of flat finish. So this has got a slight sheen, so a low sheen, but it's beautiful, and it's going to allow you to, when you're wanting to, when you've upcycled your furniture, you're wanting to wipe it, etc., this is the product. So I thought I'd just quickly take you there. I'll pop myself back on screen, and here we are again. Okay, so I'll continue answering some more questions. So, okay, Vanessa, thank you very much for joining our session this evening. And your question is, can you advise around choosing a mid-century neutral, please? Okay, I probably need a little bit more information. So what are you painting? How light or dark would you like it to be? Are you after sort of, when we're talking about a neutral, are you after sort of, as we've just referenced before, we were talking about greys, or are you after sort of a neutral when it comes to a white, or are you after sort of a beautiful sort of mid-century green or something like that? Give me a little bit more information. I'll be very happy to help you. Thank you. Okay, Lauren, thank you very much for joining us. And you're saying, hey there. Hi, how are you, Lauren? Are white walls still in, or are we heading towards a bit of colour on the walls? Very good question. So I'm going to start this by saying colour is so emotive, and colour is such a personal choice. And the ultimate thing when you're selecting colour is that you select something that's going to work for you. I truly, honestly believe that because of the love affair with white that Australia seems to have, I think that white's going to be around for quite a while. And I do think that, you know, white walls look fantastic, and it gives you an opportunity to then do layering and inject colour with furnishings, etc. Having said that, I do think that we're moving away, or trends, I'll talk trends. Trends are sort of leading us towards having more colour. And we do know that coming from, and I'll reference COVID, coming from COVID, I think people are starting to understand the, I could even say healing qualities of colour, or how it can help make you feel, and the purpose of colour as well. So colour can be used to segment a space, define a space, you can inject colour into certain areas to, you know, make an area feel more exciting. You can create an office that's energizing with colour. So it's understanding what colour can do for us. And I really do think that, so for me, I'll give you an insight to me. I'm very go, 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 and my mind sort of doesn't stop. And so for me, I surround myself, other than this room here, I surround myself with greens, because I find greens to be really calming. And so for me, green works. And I walk into a space where it's, you know, the walls are a beautiful soft green, and I immediately feel quite relaxed. So colour can work that way. So as I'm saying, you know, colour is really personal, but we are seeing, because we're going through trends, and one of the trends is like that modern Mediterranean aesthetic, where we're seeing a lot of terrazzo and travertine being used in interiors. And with that comes the undertone that lies within those products. And you'll start to see that the whites are warmer. So there's a beautiful white, and I have referenced this before, and it is a colour called Aria Ivory. And it's actually, so I might, instead of just popping the fan deck up, I might use some of our wonderful collateral, so that you can go into Bunnings, your local paint store, a Taubmans stockist, and you can see some wonderful literature that's there, designed to be there to help you. So this is our latest 2024 colour forecast, and as I was referencing before, talking about, well, look, there's some beautiful greens. Immediately you look at that and it's like, very, very calming. So you can create a wonderful space with green. And again, talking about neutrals, green is defined as one of the new neutrals. So, but when you acquire one of these, I'll tell you where to start. So if you go to scented and running down the bottom, and just be mindful, look, this is printed colour. It's indicative of colour only when we talk colour, and it doesn't matter even if you go to the colour wall and you're grabbing one of these colour chips, which is paint deposited colour, so it's accurate. I always recommend that you, once you've narrowed down or you're selecting colours, to acquire a sample pot. And when you're in Bunnings, for example, when our paint comes in on pallets, it comes in between the layers of paint of what they call palette liners, so really big pieces of cardboard. So I go to the friendly paint team member at Bunnings and say, you know, is there an opportunity to grab a palette liner or get some cardboard, and cut yourself 1 metre by 1 metre square. So you're wanting a large piece of cardboard, and you're going to give that 3 coats of paint. Now, ordinarily, if I were talking Endure, which is, you know, the most beautiful interior paint, it's a 2-coat system. But because we are going on bare cardboard, I would recommend using 3 coats. So that first coat's going to aid as an undercoat, and then two coats on top. So once your sample is dry, so 2 areas to test. So here's your wall, here's your floor. Putting your large dry sample against the wall so it's touching the floor, and having a look at it in daylight, also under artificial lighting of a night, and having a look and seeing how the colour works within your environment, because it's really important. If you've got things like timber flooring, the flooring can help to, if you like, warm up the white, and so the white can take on a more of a golden sort of undertone. If you've got, and I use this analogy all the time, a red leather lounge, in certain times of the day, that white that you're painting on the walls could potentially look a little bit pink. And then again, so you've got your wall here, you've got your ceiling, you're putting your sample up against the ceiling, on your wall, yep, so it's up against the ceiling, touching, and then looking at it again in natural daylight, but also looking at it of an evening under your artificial lighting to see how that white works for you. Not only is it important when you're doing whites, colour as well, because colour, when you're committing to colour, and if you're a little bit unsure of, I don't know whether I want to be using such a bold colour or a dark colour or whatever it may be, sampling that colour as well is paramount. So back to scented. So this contains some of our most loved whites, as I'm going to say, as loved by you all, which is what dictates, you know, what our number 1 white is. It does have our number 1 white as well, which is crisp white. And it also has in here some warmer whites, and as I was referencing before, I've just got to find it here, Aria Ivory, which sits here. And Aria Ivory, as I said before, is a fantastic colour if you're looking for a white / neutral that has just a little bit more. I think that's well worth a try. So I'd certainly look there. And you know, Aria Ivory, again, I was asked a moment ago, and thank you very much, Vanessa, for coming back, like you're wanting a neutral white. You could look at Aria Ivory as a tone like that. Also going into the neutral whites, you could also look at a colour which is called Alpine Snow or Aspen Snow, a very soft white with that slight neutral undertone. Fantastic colours, beautiful, easy to live with colours, and they work with pretty much, you know, I'm picturing this mid-century home, it would work spot on. I hope that helps. Please, if there's anything else that I can help you with, Vanessa, pop something else into the feed. So after you've looked at scented and you're sort of going, okay, I'm going through the forecast, where do I go next? Have a look at, as I was talking about before, green is the new neutral. Have a look at grounded. Down below there are a collection of wonderful greens going into blues that if you're wanting to inject colour in your space, and when I'm talking colour, I'm saying let's talk colour, not just a soft neutral grey or something like that. We want to inject a colour per se. This is one of the easiest colour palettes to work from, and being green and blue, a couple of the easiest colours to inject into your space. And I also did reference before, because a lot of us are working from home now, and you know, we have the way we work and the way we live has changed as a result of COVID, and home office is a thing. So there's a wonderful collection of colours here, Composure, which I think any of these colours would look fantastic in an office space. Now the other thing, if you are wanting to inject colour into your home, and I know because I talk to so many people and they're a little bit like, oh, I'm not sure if I want to really commit to a lot of colour, have a look in your space and have a look for somewhere where you can create a hero in a room. And so what I mean by that is, for example, you might have a mantelpiece or above a fireplace, etc., where you could pop some colour onto. You may have a beautiful big barn door, for example, and you're thinking, okay, I want to bring that to life and make that a feature. These are areas where you can start to play with colour. And so from that, I would have a look at the Euphoric collection, bolder, more chromatic, so more saturated with colour if you like, and some fantastic colours. And my favourite is, well actually I've got two. So there's Albion Park, which is in that kitchen zone on the joinery there, and then you've also got Nutmeg, which is on this wall here, a really beautiful spice sort of colour. It's a fantastic colour. So that's what you can find on our colour wall, along with some other wonderful literature designed to help you. Look at this. I love the colours in this. So here's a wonderful piece of collateral that can help you when you're looking at colour. Paint deposited chips, as I said again, once you select or narrow down your colours, a sample pot's the way to go. And then whites and neutrals. What is really good about this is we like to help you as much as we can because we understand colour can be daunting. Okay, we're going to start over here with cooler whites, ending in warmer whites, and then we're going to begin to play within that neutral space. And you'll see let me just hope I'm saying it right, you'll see a gradation bar, like a long bar along there up the top, which sort of goes for the spans across the entire colour card. So that's going from cool to warm with that neutral space in between, all put together to help guide you just that little bit more. And you can grab all these off our Taubmans colour wall, and there's also exterior as well. Okay, I'll continue answering these questions or we're going to run out of time. What else do I have here? Okie dokie. Natasha. Hi Natasha, thank you very much for joining us this evening. So I'm looking for the softest pink that needs to work with akimbo. I have got Heritage Rose on my mood board, but I would like something pink with a hint of grey to it, please. I stood at the colour wall at Bunnings today. Oh, fantastic. So, all right. A very, very soft pink with a hint of grey. So to go with akimbo. So you've got Heritage Rose. Have you looked at, let me just see if I can find Heritage Rose here. I should be able to, so I can share that with everyone. Any other time I'd just go straight to it, but because we're live, just can't get there. I'm going to have to resort to the index. Isn't that terrible? Okay. Okay, so the other colour, I mean, there's always pink, pink dust. It's been a long week. I can't even, I'm trying to go through my alphabet here. And it's only Thursday. Okay, Heritage Rose. Yeah, I can see that. That is beautiful. Here we go here. Beautiful soft tone. I love the colours. I love these pinks that sort of sit within that edge there. So on the edge, sorry, not within the edge. So that is fantastic. I guess the one above it, if you're wanting something just a little bit softer, is a colour called Samson. You could look at that. That's sort of going into the gradation of, so, you know, starting, you've got Taylor Rose, which is a little bit deeper, then you're going into Heritage Rose, and then just up a notch, if you like, is Samson. So you could look at that. That's Sampson, or even the one above it, which is Dove White. So that's a really, again, sitting within that whole blade of colour, if you like. So starting, you know, more saturated, diluting out. So you've got Heritage Rose there, and then you've got the softer tone, and then even softer again. So you could look at that. So as I said, Samson and then Dove White. The other colour, and maybe it's not, yeah, actually this might work. There's another, yeah, Alberta Rose. So if I hold these up together, and bearing in mind we're looking at a screen, which is not always fantastic, you can sort of see them together. So Alberta Rose sits on this side here, and then if we go up one notch there, we're looking at a colour called Sea Anemone. So that would be another one to have a look at as well. Now let me just, that's going to purple. There is another colour called Pink Dust. Maybe that's actually the quicker way might be for me just to grab the colour chart out. So you've looked at Heritage Rose, have a look as well, and maybe that's going in, maybe it's a little bit more too much on the nude sort of beige undertone, but Pink Dust, which sits in our colour card here. So you've got your Heritage Rose there, and then we're going down to Pink Dust here, which is the most fantastic, more of a neutral style pink. It's beautiful. So hopefully that helps. If not, pop something else into the feed, and once I finish streaming, I'll have a look at some of my other colour collateral, and I can certainly pop some more suggestions in there for you along with some links. Very happy to help. Hi Shannon, thank you very much for joining us, and hi Kylie Louise. You're saying hello, I'm going to say hi back. Okay, so Shannon, is ghosting a good colour for exterior for weatherboards? What would you pair with it for trims and roof? Let's have a look. Hopefully I can find it. It may not be in this fan deck that I have with me. I do have it in my other fan deck. Look, I'll park that question, Shannon, and when we finish streaming in 4 minutes, I'll grab some other colour collateral that's not right in front of me, have a look at the colour, and then I'll come back to you. I have seen ghosting used for exterior before, and it does look fantastic, and I have seen it paired with one of the new Colour Bond colours, which is, let me get this right, I believe it's Blue Gum, which is that colour there. So I'm happy to have a look for you, and then I will park that and give you some further information once I can get my hands on my other fan deck. Thank you. Hi Shivs Baker, thank you very much for joining us. You are saying, hi Fiona, I'm looking for advice on what colour to paint the outside of our house. Fantastic, thank you very much for joining us. Now I'm happy to help you. Can you give me just a little bit more information? So when painting the exterior of a home, it's really good to begin with, like, I need to ascertain whether your house is coastal, whether you're in a bush setting, what the surrounds are, and what elements are we not painting. So if, for example, you've got a brick home, what color of the brick are we looking at? If your windows and your, let's say your windows, your garage door and your roof are a certain color and you're not going to change those, can you just let me know sort of what color we're looking at, so then I can begin to help build a color palette for you. I'd be very happy to do that. And so anyone that is embarking on painting the exterior of your home, they're really important things to look at. So if you're coastal, you know, what sort of surrounds you. Lots of people on the coast are using sort of Hamptons colors, lots of whites, lots of grays that have that blue undertone. In a bush setting, depending, you know, as crazy as it might sound, but if you're more rural and you've got lots of red dirt, you wouldn't want to paint your house like a white tone, because it's going to forever have that sort of red dirt when it's windy, etc., sort of brushing against it. Or so, you know, you've got to think of all these things when you start to build your color palette. And then obviously as well, you know, what else surrounds you? Like, you know, if you are a bush setting, is there a lot of greenery? Or if not, what sort of things surround you? Like, it's taking everything into consideration in building that beautiful color scheme. So that's kind of what I do when I'm helping people with color for exterior. So I know that's a roundabout way, Shivs, of asking for more information, but that gives everybody a starting point when you are looking on embarking on an exterior color journey. And sure, if you can just give me a little bit more information, I would love to offer some suggestions to help you get a fantastic color scheme. Okay, hi Sabrina, thank you very much for joining us. Okay, so you're asking, I'm really struggling to pick a colour for our media. I don't want to grey, blue or green colours, leaning towards a brown colour but not too dark. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so a brown, are we looking more, Sabrina, at something that's potentially more of a neutral. So if you're wanting a brown sort of tone, like you could go, I look straight in here and there's things like, depending on brown, you can go for something like, which is like Teddy, that sort of sits within that brown sort of realm of color. Even things like looking at these two tones here, like they sit within that sort of brown family. So is it something like that you're after, or are you after something even looking, I know it's going into more of a terracotta tone, but depending, something like that. So let me know when you're talking about brown, just if you can be just a little bit more definitive, I can certainly help to narrow it down and pick some wonderful tones for you, wonderful colors. Thank you. So just pop something else to the feed and I'll be very happy to help. And Lauren, thank you, super helpful, thanks. No worries at all, you're very welcome. And Kim is saying, love the color on the bedroom wall or the picture for the post. Can you tell me the name? Certainly can. We started our session this evening with that. We've had so much, I guess you could say, so many questions, and it sort of created a bit of a, it's certainly sparked a lot of interest around that color. The color is called Taubmans Foxdale. So it is a beautiful neutral style grey. So it's sort of got that greeny undertone, sort of that greeny going into a slight beigey sort of grey undertone. So it's the most beautiful adaptable colour, so certainly well worth looking at. So as I said, Taubmans Foxdale. Okay, so oh wow, I've gone over time. I've still got a couple of questions that I will come back and answer, not in front of the camera, but behind the scenes here, in front of the laptop, and come back to the other questions that I sort of mentioned before and said that I would pop some information into the feed. But thank you very much, everybody, for joining us this evening. Thanks so much for all of your questions. I love it when we're busy. That's what we're here. We're here to talk Taubmans. We're here to help you with all your colour, certainly give you some fantastic product recommendations. So we will be back again, same time, same place next week. And as I said, I'll be online for the next half an hour if you do have any further questions. So thanks very much, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe, and as I always say, happy painting, everybody. Thank you. Bye.